and share our expertise and ideas as we move this country from this level to another. You're welcome.
You are killing me. Take this out. Why you do that?
nin dimbabu gaman salam siñol yamin mo UDP danning adama baro ka kalamuda wallal binandeya kabrim fama banta janning adama baro ya kalamuda jalni Hussein Dabo ya kalamuda siñol la kalamuda nimin basiri wallal nate mako yam fama ko wallal tata badola adama man tan de la badewto Hussein Dabo manta wol do la badewto woton tolmin be dula kilin tolmin be siring ngaño buña ngaño horoma mbe tata Gambia din kilingol le kan ntolme forcé UDP me forcé démocratie lom UDP ela fere o landile ani lafta min na Gambiano ndol nganna fere o landi lafta min na Gambiano yaaje Gambiano yen tol tata a foye Gambiano buña ambe kile because wo Gambia kilingo din kilingol e be murunna wolle kam al nga ke with civility and decorum nga loi observe loi wolen sembentu yate natuma mbalanta nyofe loi tijen data silo kan aseke nga UDP kol no bare na modol se fano kon because mo wuli keme fulani o carte o fayo mbal mo wuli keme fulani mo wuli keme nal ni keleta mo wuli keme nal se gagner no le bari e la modol se fanol dole barama ntol mimbe findla ngata celebration la ngalon ko we are not celebrating against Hussein Dabo bari we are celebrating for the Republic of the Gambia adun signol nim badingol nin tero nim siri nite ku killing ni wollel betarra dulalto ngake domandoma nga loi buña nga mol buña nga celebration oke ani horomoni buña la barin to la president be wala kala ya kabiri e nyimbe fo alnene amole adama nyin kumo diam anene man fem foje anene man complain ay hormone buña le tandi from the beginning so nte mbem fawnde Ahmad jide fawn mbem fawn folo yamar la mbina mbenna mol be yamar la barinditade mames nyolu kata Dr Amadou Konde nyolu nin dolum mawol tollon ila parti yol be korona mo be hormone buña tandi atol journalistol flan ale doku kendol kenyim banko kan mbal tendula mbal jayla la doku kendo lava ali continue to be neutral. It's very difficult to be neutral and impartial. But I'll continue ka okay. Ngal tentu ngal jay bimben seo bunne. Barim fanande ale fonsaje. Ikabe siring no monumento Santo Jana. Ale fonsaje. Muna be siring jana.
Wow. What What does this victory mean to you?
Well, obviously, it's too much, Ongol. The victory is too much for everybody, even Gambian, for sure. Not even only a MPP supporter, but as Indian Gambians. Because this country is belong to everybody. This country is belong to any Gambian. Peace and the unity of this country is a concern for any genuine Gambian.
Advices to the Gambian soldiers, they are supporters of the Yellow Party.
Obviously, maybe for the ruling party, Gambia Gambia be mile kato di MPP la bang ani min maro MPP la and secondly the carte tambidale sa political is over ngambulo yele ngaje ko delem kilindi Gambia not more than 2 million Gambians donc intermarital telem badi ngoliti tel kanyol badi tel ko be ka nyokang wala ngaji be ko dro mi alon ko dimbe ko min ken ko min kunun tanga bi support solo nga continue wala fenti mi alon ko le banko ñu sambala ñato
being advice solo la pro ka for a president or nana to maintain peace in the country.
No, obviously I don't think I have a right to advise the president. President have his team of advisors, but any Gambian know what is the peace mean. Any Gambian me alone go president be peace keke nyalile. Obviously without the peace without the president baro ye peace mean kinyum bango kan and dignity and liberty mi be bango kan ninga adra bango already president baro peace so I mean tamin kan bango kan ja o mangem fendi me min fola maybe kudos so for concern about the president baro but peace kay mom obviously any Gambian yalla ko be nyum bango kan already. Thank you. A pleasure.
Already there, so I don't know what you want next.
The United Democratic Party's petition against the NPP was struck out by the Supreme Court of the Gambia. So let's take a listen to Dusano in Banjul and we'll be right back.
Komi along wole keta janta anana manki sport counting bare kabra keta fana foka pare mo be sonda nyinala ko president barole winter dunia be sonda la kata la winter ni balanda la yes la democratic right lam pour ka balang bare o balang nyin kola natare ko alnata kitola hani nyamato natare ko ay slow so nata court house jang natare ko ay nyinin karoke walla feya ay fenso do me alon ko wala ya deming jojo le right to la pour ka nyamato nyin lamoy because e bi jam pour mo bele woto dalilo kam wala yakende jubelal ba jube kan ndaman daw to jojol to adum man daw to na judiciary to nyin kam mala ngalon nako president baro mo molete mi ala nana buka interfere judiciary kono bare loi même fo abeta baka wala la bare se maytande UDP kolla busandi follow wo ketelale e ko way mbama dendeng nyina mo busandi saban fulan jangti mu ya lon ko aketela yeta ye sabari ye munya banko do ko lam tol bele dentala victory mu ya lon ko wala sotota janteng e sa lon ko banko din kolle o victory nyin sab UDP bo banko din le kono ye kafuna mol kan ngana ngata do ko la nga banko do ko banko manke president baro tata manke ndetata manke usun dabo tati amanke mboko den tati banko din le tamu banko nyinti woto ko natare ko sainteng kito yala koke ko nyim bantale fitna ko ni setan ko e jamfal mo be nyoma ngajube mune betiata Gambia to ngawo do ko Gambia pour mol mel yalon ko wala nyanta Gambia kita la sama wala fesiata katari Facebook katari kuma tilim balol folaje wala fesiata katari yolto ebe kuma tilim balol folaje to ebe mol accuse la kol mel yalon ko amanke nothing absolutely wol be mu kulata abe dannale because molte konte la nyin toñindiro la molte konto la nyin nendiro la eteta contribute le la banko member contribute kam banko fana la ñenam ko lafta mi tan la
moral link la so mu nek nga nek ma stand nañ ma call waaw.
Yeah, those are live images from the Gambia Supreme Court in Banjul, and that was Dusano calling on the Yellow Party members to exercise patience and of course to join the NPP to work for the development of the Gambia and of course to maintain peace in this country. Though in Banjul today, the Supreme Court of the Gambia strike the United Democratic Party's petition against the Independent Electoral Commission, Barrow's National People's Party, and of course the Attorney General Chambers. The United Democratic Party filed a petition at the Supreme Court of the Gambia challenging the December 4th elections, saying that the election should be nullified because there were so many irregularities during the election time, saying that the Barrow camp bribed and of course induced supporters or voters in the December elections. As a result, they petitioned that, and of course they also said that the Barrow's party use presiding officers as IEC officers as their presiding officers. All these things were some of the petitions that the United Democratic Party filed against Barrow's National People's Party, the Independent Electoral Commission and the AG Chambers. But eventually the High Court in Banjul struck out their case on basis that we will link our correspondent in Banjul to give us more details on why the Supreme Court of the Gambia struck out the petition filed in by the United Democratic Party of lawyer Usainu Dabo. So this is the breaking news coming in, as you can see here live on iAfrica TV, and I am Julden Yai Suare with my co-host here, Binta Jallo. Binta Jallo, gis nañ ne United Democratic Party bi guys and court petition bi it's already struck out by the country's apex court, and we will link later Usman Jatta to give us more details of that. But we've seen that initially the Barrow's National People's Party filed a petition calling on the Supreme Court of the Gambia to strike out the court, and later they also laid another motion saying that the second motion has more weight, it carries more weight, and it contains 8 prayers. So as a result, the Supreme Court of the Gambia should consider that. But we have seen that also the Supreme Court of the Gambia also asked Barrow's National People's Party to pay $10,000 to the United Democratic Party for delaying the court sittings.
Yes, like you mentioned, rightly mentioned rather. So this is something that really has been very interesting of recent. We've seen this court case going on for almost, I think, 2 weeks now since it started. And now we have come to the end of it, like you said. But the most important thing is the verdict from the court. And this is what the court says. Okay, this is strike out, and now we haven't seen any valid reason to nullify the election or do otherwise, or judge that the NPP actually had some malpracticing going on during the electoral process. Exactly. So maybe now this is what is important, and we've heard what the NPP people are saying. Let's move forward, let's work for the country now, let's concentrate and work on the national development part, which is really important, Julde.
Thank you. So we will now connect with our correspondent Usman Jatta, who is live at the Banjul Supreme Court of the Gambia, to give us more details of the court proceeding. Usman, we've just seen that the country's apex court, of course, strike out the petition of the United Democratic Parties. On what basis was this petition striked out?
And the special edition. Actually, today was supposed to be a continuation of the second motion of filed in by the NPP party, but all of a sudden we saw a different tone in the hearing, as we saw Justice Hassan B. Jallo, who happens to be the main judge handling the court case, ruling in favor of the NPP party. When it comes to the petition that was filed in by the Yellow Party, as if you could recall, in the past 2 weeks, NPP party filed a motion seeking for the court, the country's highest court, which happens to be the Supreme Court, to dismiss the petition filed in by the Yellow Party. And today the Supreme Court Judge Hassan B. Jallo has made his ruling, and his ruling has indicated that the Yellow Party has not complied to certain requirements regarding the petition filing, which has to do with one, filing a notice of presentation, serving both, that is the respondents, with a notice of presentation to be able to proceed with the hearing. So that was what that was looked at. Yes.
Okay, Usman, the unconfirmed reports are indicating that the Supreme Court of the Gambia fined the United Democratic Party a sum of $300,000. Can you confirm that to us?
For sure, Mrs. Suare. What the Supreme Court did was to fine the Yellow Party for yes. I cannot confirm if it is $300,000, but what I heard was about $100,000 actually. But I've not heard for $300,000. I heard of $100,000. So, Mrs. Swari, joining me live now is Du Sano, who is a member of the NPP party. Mr. Sano, you are live with iAfrica TV. Please, everyone is watching you right now.
Actually, victory Kubala means solely, and I Kubala means for Gambia, and I Kubala for means Gambia Tareko Yinkono. Gambia na be democracy sort la fuka futa nyinto for oppositionally we soto ye fit soto ye right soto pour ka wuli katela right channel at the right place member ko high court. You know, katanya kontana Kuba te kabrin tumo menna. Cairo kono bi ala yake President Barrow NPP ala nata also victory nyinna kaje ko ka kito nyin ka win UDP petition o men nati nan jang bare mbe expecting wala le andu men nata kontan jeto President Barrow keta malete mi alonko abuka interfere kono abuka interfere mo be bulale ko ye independent banko samba silo mi alonko banko mul be wala la bi am ko ye wala exercise janto kabrin tumo na ngaj ko ya ko jete mu ya lon ko a nominated member mu ya lon president na nominate ka ke a nominated MPT ay president Barrow nati janne ay president Barrow win party wol be nata janne a winta woto ko nyaay tan la kon na judiciary president Barrow ma han sotoje bi wolle kito kuntu yaje ko UDP la petition na ya banda yipuma ka bulam bale kono salam bale to jumala jolo ndamben kono for leg lol mbale to lombang fo talib mbale to nyin kono lombang bay to yalla bita fayla dam say men dan la wala mu UDP ko yalla ka fuko nyim banko koleti men tambita wo tamta yan bakfima nyin kamala banko mu ya lonko wole siata president Barrow siata te jeli nanga kafunyo nga jube mune betiata nyim banko kan nga doku sainde loi ya itandi la ko president Barrow la nganyo men a sota na promises men di molla atale lota sai
to courting I'll cost the like of $10,000 is ka fuko like alnyanta ko jo petition da but being a jago from a cool ton amount to me alan from atara for 100,000 what does that mean to you to moment na from bring UDP party brale 10,000
Kinwezenga for UDP Nkoli alkana mol filindi meli malong e ya karta tolo la pralie enlight aliye sensitize ya long exactly what is the truth bare katare forum mol kono e bela mol kama flash la e be kuma furun fole e be kumol fole be gomundile be landi kan kumalla meli ya long ko amanke toñati so bile ya fring ko nyil kono mbe maytan la wokono nante de kabring 10,000 kumo nyim fota ko yenna President Barrow nyanta 10,000 jola UDP ka ya jubilet ngoy nadre ndefam bi jembe extra 10,000 la kanne ay ke 20,000 de ngadila because e malo membe laring bare bari ndeme malo membe laring ngalo nako bi lungta be wala taman la no tonya wala be tamala ko nyin kono bi finally UDP ngol aliyajelle.
Mr. Sano, saying next ngajele ko Sirin Jaiba Fokang ako anying is a new beginning for the NPP party. So what next from your side?
Comme Sidia fo nyameng na dua follow anen kamen kalinu wala mo ala kito te nte kundin anen usenu tema ala kito te usenu President Barrow tema ala kito te ntol na tema man la fe kula mi ya lon ka be boyla kam bare ala taala mi ya lon ka tala martala toñala andata fon maru fo mu toñalati tuma do nay kito nyin kuntutel tema ay toña fasa banko bebe benefit la bimbe wala kono wala mu nyinti ko tumo menna e ko nga jam fakele bi akoytale andu ngamen dani ala bulu ala woleke election on nata nge bute nyamu ya lon bama den na kuma da kordal karobela dol haynante wol boyta be tembo men do saenten nga fa president Barrow na boro do odanan cuba pour nyin kamala mel ya lon ko la presol wulta fasi ma ko no nyaama because yata lan numba de ulam.
So finally low meter ibe message lay sotola mole nanata ka
di la molla wolam nyinto be nga kafu ñom UDP kana nyin jube ka fa ko itol mu opposition olati baya jube ka fo banku dingula moyti banko la Cairo natra jita janto drong mobile be benefit lala kabrin tumo benna ninko Cairo fo nga firang pour molia kalamuta COVID-19 la najang supply o muya lonko president baro yo le kereker pour kaje kay plano lande ka manol nim fan kotol nim tulol sang o ma UDP nyininka man APRC nyininka man GDC nyininka ama NPP nyininka o benefit tata mo belea wako bora ko be laare wala nyama nana nga kafunyoma nga nying kuma kalantan ni nendrol ni nying ku kotol bula bare nga mira me lonko wala nyanta banko develop la nga wodoko because nying kamala ko president baro tata bankoti kusenu dabo tante bare mena la banko ketala ase banko keta watila wato me alon ko Cairo drabe fare wala aya banko.
So finally alla inauguration la ko alla preparation obe tembe jumalto
inauguration la ko no foda men ko man fenje marita la tamala nioltide bare ndefan dusano de mbadani janni wote madron saya etala pour nyin kamala akana mo be sigino inauguration dula kela kontano itande kanna leader la ko itande me alon ka atalam Cairo baroti atalam hino baroti atalam balafa baroti atalam alia timol fonana baroti nyin kamala kaje ko woluna mbe calendar kuto dilala ni na fo kuto ni dondika kuto anin gambia kuto ka samba gambian koliye.
Baraka Bake, Mr. Sano. That was Mr. Sano speaking to us live, and he has made mention of very important things with regards to people coming together and working together as one, for the fact that they have already won the battle against the Yellow Party, the main opposition party of Usainu Abubakar Dabo, following the ruling by the High Court Judge Justice Hassan B. Jallo, rather, as we may recall, in the past month, the Yellow Party filed a petition at the High Court of the Gambia, the Supreme Court of the Gambia, rather, the highest court in the Gambia, seeking for the High Court of the Gambia to invalidate the election results, which was announced by the Independent Electoral Commission on December 4th, 2021. And it has been opposite of Usainu Dabo, but following several days of hearing, and today being the fourth day of the hearing, we saw a different development. We saw a different milestone from the country's highest court, which used its powers to make sure that justice was served. And today, the court has ruled in favor of the incumbent party, that is the party of the president, the National People's Party, and equally as well, the court has attached a cost or a fine of $100,000, which should be paid to the incumbent party, NPP. So this is the current situation. Mrs. Suare, back to you.
Yes, Usman, what were some of the prayers contained in the NPP's motion to warrant the Supreme Court of the Gambia to just strike out the UDP's petition like that without the continuation of the hearing?
Indeed, Mrs. Suare, we have heard today from the Justice, Honorable Justice, who is Hassan B. Jallo, who have reminded the court on some of the things that were argued by the NPP lawyer. One was on a notice of presentation, which the NPP lawyer argued that this is a requirement of every petition, and all members, that is the respondents, should be served with it in order to begin the hearing proper. And this is something that is actually very mandatory, and there is a need for it to be present. That is one thing. And equally as well, the NPP lawyers argued that in their last motion argument that the motion which was filed in, the petition filed in by the Yellow Party concentrated on the IEC, which is the main election conducting body in the Gambia. So for that being the case, they are demanding for the court to dismiss the case for the fact that it was not centered on their client, to be the president, who happens to be President-elect Adama Barrow. So those were some of the basic things which were pointed out by the NPP lawyers, and today we have seen the Honorable Chief Justice Hassan B. Jallo taking a decision on that.
Was the UDP members or supporters, were they around at the Supreme Court of the Gambia? And of course, what was some of their reaction after the court verdict?
absolutely right, Mrs. Suarez. They were around in the court, but when the judge made his ruling, when he gave the final verdict at some point, we did not have the chance to meet most of their members, and at some point it's like they all left the court premises, and the only persons who were left at the court premises were the media with the NPP supporters. As you saw, we were just interviewing the one advisor to the president, who is Dusano, and equally as well Sirin Jai, who was also being interviewed on the victory. And according to them, this means a lot to them. And according to Sirin Jai, this is a new beginning for the NPP party. And we have also heard from Dusano saying that calling all Gambians to come together to work to take the country to another level, because now what lies ahead is development, it's not politics, but coming together to make sure that the country moves forward.
Of course, we know that the Yellow Party did not only file a petition against Barrow's NPP, but of course they filed a petition against the Independent Electoral Commission and the AG Chambers. What happens to those petitions?
Okay, thank you very much. With regards to that as well, as you rightly mentioned, the Yellow Party did not only file a petition against the NPP party, but they also filed a petition against the election body, which happens to be the IEC, equally as well the Attorney General Chambers, which is the AG Chambers. All these parties were included in the amendment petition. So these were the parties which were involved.
Yes, we lost that signal, but we will hopefully will come back to Usman Jatta. He was mentioning some very important stuff happening at the country's Supreme Court, and of course some of the issues that. Yes, let's get back to Usman Jatta. Yes, Usman Jatta, you were saying that the issue of the UDP petition regarding the Independent Electoral Commission and of course the AG Chambers.
For sure. With regards to the petition filed against the IEC, because in last week's hearing, which was about the motion of the NPP seeking for the court to dismiss the UDP petition, it was a general argument. Both parties were involved. That is like both the first respondent, the second respondent, which happens to be the IEC, the first, the NPP, and the third, the AG Chambers. They were all involved in the argument, but at some point we have noticed that when the NPP party was given a chance, those are the lawyers of the NPP party, to argue, after finishing their argument, the second respondent, which happens to be the IEC, were given the chance to also get, but it's like they are in support of the submissions presented by the lawyers of the NPP party. So coming to the AG Chambers as well, it's like they are not supporting both sides, but they are more of giving an analysis on the case. So this was what happened, and it was more of a battle between the Yellow Party and the NPP party at the Supreme Court, as I mentioned, because the IEC was more of in agreement with the submissions of the NPP party lawyers.
So just to be clear, Usman Jatta, the Supreme Court of the Gambia, did they get to look at the UDP's petition entirely, or they didn't even look at it? They only based their judgment based on the NPP's motion?
Sure, the motion is still attached to the petition. It may be a bit confusing. Like I said earlier on, today was supposed to be the hearing on the main petition, which is filed by the Yellow Party, actually seeking for the court to invalidate the election results, which was announced by the IEC. But during the second day of the court hearing, the NPP lawyers filed a motion seeking for the court to dismiss the court petition filed in by the Yellow Party. So during that course of the hearing, they were able to present a lot of facts with regards to why they think the NPP, why they think the Yellow Party's petition.
That is Usman Jatta explaining to us the particulars of the United Democratic Party's petition. Yes, Usman is back. Yes, Usman.
Sure, for sure. What I was saying is just that with regards to the petition, with regards to the second motion filed in by the NPP party, it was more of all centered on the petition itself. So at the end of the day, after the argument, the court, made it, because it was a motion that was seeking for the High Court for the Supreme Court to dismiss the petition filed in by the Yellow Party. So before even hearing the petition filed in by the Yellow Party, so at some point when they made their arguments, when they all presented their sides of the story, so the Supreme Court decided to go ahead with that, and they have accepted this motion, and the case has already been struck out. So it's like it has no other use to go beyond that 30 days deadline. As we know, the court was scheduled to end for a period of 30 days, but unfortunately it did not meet the 30 days deadline, and the Supreme Court was able to make a ruling which was in support of the second motion filed in by the lawyers of the NPP party.
All right, thank you so much, Usman Jata. We will come back to you, hopefully. Binta Yalo, daga Usman Jata Lumba, from Nekanidal. Just to be clear, United Democratic Party, guys, and main petition, the Supreme Court did not strike it based on that. But when they filed the petition, the NPP party also filed in a motion to say that the UDP's petition should be struck out of court. But when they did that, the second one, they also went back to the Supreme Court, asking the Supreme Court to drop the first motion that they filed in and then bring in a second motion which contained 8 prayers. That second motion as well, that is where the Supreme Court based to give their final verdict on it. But apparently the Supreme Court of the Gambia did not even reach or even looked at the final or the main petition filed in by the United Democratic Party.
Right, so these are cases, when it comes to court, we are not experts. As I, for one, I'm not an expert when it comes to court issues, but I believe these are motions that they have looked into very well, and of course the agreement between the two parties, or I think there are 3 now, that is the UDP, the NPP, and the IEC and the AG Chamber. So the agreement between them, I believe the court has really looked into it, and also
it's notice of presentation of course they said that the Yellow Party was not abiding on the rule 11th of the Supreme Court.
Right.
These are among the issues that they used to give the final verdict.
Right. So that's the issue here, because if they had maybe the chance to go through the petition and of course look at the argument parts that the UDP presented, maybe it would be a total different thing. But now we are seeing another part or side of everything in this case.
Okay. So we will go back to Banjul, where our correspondent is Usman Jata, to give us more details on this, on the local languages, on the Mandinka language, for the benefit of our local audience, to know what is happening today, right here on iAfrica TV. Usman Jata, Supreme Court bi munekata jeng alon the UDP case against UDP la petitioner, yemen file against NPP, Barola NPP, IEC, and AG Chambers, wo diamo bitaka nenu baringa jeleko Supreme Court of the Gambia ye UDP la case tale ya faibanta mune yo sabu.
Baraka Mrs. Suare kon nga fo nyameng angale account bi ke lungoti mialan ko Supreme Court Gambia la Supreme Court akata court mialan ko fa wole gena warta court sol min bebe a banko kan yela ruling kele yela final verdict dile mialan ko fa wole be dending NP UDP election a petition or mialan fa wole filed a court ka jeko Supreme Court bankola court ba ye election results on ya render as invalid at to moment for a petition or file Supreme Court ka itani fonko election on aning siloma it was in non-compliance with the so bidung jenning before NDP la loyal ye motional file motion mi ala ko fon about fucking high court bankola Supreme Court pre UDP la petition on ya dismiss hidung atakuti mialon ko fon anata ka tinna fon all parties mialon ko wolle dabe a court case nyinto wolen IECT NPP aning AG Chambers inata argument solke ibe sata role di ka itan miatin na fon ko nyin case amanyanta ka continue so bidung bi nyanka loti mialo ko fon nyin case be continue la ka katanya bade bidum bring nada court house of photo ngaji ko nyimmi justice Hassan B jaloti another kala final ruling o di ka itandi fon ko wo koma fon another ka NPD a party in charge 100,000 mialongo fon e nyanda ka di NPP party la katun ko niaji be fanung komanto NPP ketanu multi-million ko fongo yela first motion of filed but yela first motion of filed in nataka draw work kama in nataka tinda fongo court ni fine $10,000 but being ko fongo like bring court bring Georgia ni yala final ruling D anataka UDP fine $100,000 miyalon ko fongo in yantaka wole D NPP party lot but nada court miyatina fongo wala sabu fongo B Jojo nada ka nying simfanyata adabe wol kono woleng ka sartol milialo ko imango UDP party to itani fonko UDP man sartol timmande nanata a petition la karoto andong ibe min angale kan wala safo mille notice of presentation ninkera kutiyalon ko fon amake kuti miyalon ko ye sartol miyan ko fon ya timmandi and wo dabe ko to miyalon ko fon ya tinna ye nying case nying dismiss andum fana last week nga moynu NPP lawyer aba argue kan aba fokan ko UDP la petition akeda petition de miyalon ko a focus the second respondent to mimminung IEC fonti miyalon ko fon wollebe marling election kola banko kan andum inata kan nying continue ka ida ni fon ko itol client mimi Adama Baroti ami multi million ko ataman tara election ko mara banko kan so na kera ko tara wala nyameng dung inyanta ka case nying dismissed so nying be dabe ko million ko fon atin bi nying case dismissed
Elefang andu fana kabring Supreme Court of the Gambia Hassan B Jallow Justice Hassan B Jallow kabring ay nying ruling ke muna muy to la reaction to UDP support alni
abaraka back Mrs. household the jang bari bring court nying case court case nying banta manna yellow party members all for tumo mina fon Jamal Bije itata so molman chance ning sort of pruni diam Musa foko ye nikuya ba sort of ye disappointment ba sort of court la karoto but nyin wering ni mol min narka diam wolen NPP fon la party supporters ni ila members of minalon ko wolle be num ground to nyaad commento nga nyimmimje nga du sanoje aning Sidi Njay wol be diam yela contanda yitandi nying victory mialo ko yewole soto against the yellow team mialo for min itolia b nying kera kuti mialo ko ya yitandi fon ko ami ku blum kumbari balti itolia
Ousmane Diatta abaraka bake loolu dafa am solo torop Ousmane Diatta moo ñu doon waxal ci kàllaama Mandinka reason su tax gaa ñu strike out Supreme Court bi lu tam ñu strike out UDP petition bi xamal nañ ne ci ginnaaw Binta UDP dañ file petition yi against Barrow's NPP ci njëlbeen bi Barrow rek ak NPP am rek lañ fileoon petition against waaye ñu dem ba ci kanam rek ñu foog ne ok war nañ faa yokk moo nekk di electoral body Independent Electoral Commission mu yaaga tuuti ñu ne fo ñu aat foofu noonu AG Chambers so mu nekk loo xam ne daal si segments la doon happen first Barrow la woon second Independent Electoral Commission and the third of course which is the AG Chambers waaye gis nañu fu ñu nekk ni Supreme Court bi sànni na gaay seen case bi te affaire bi mooy guys Supreme Court bi amuñ chance bi sa opportunity bi sa pour xool actual petition boo xam ne daal UDP boobu lañ yóbbu si Supreme Court of the Gambia ñoom daal buñ nekk di seet moo nekk ne Barrow NPP am bi dañ file a motion boo xam ne di wax ne ok ñii amuñ case Supreme Court bi ñu ngee wax Supreme Court bi ne NPP UDP parti bi de ñoom amuñ case soo nañ génnee seen case bi si court bi ñu saani ko si mbalit bi soo gis nañ ne loolu moo happen tey moo waroon na continuer second hearing bi waaye gis nañ ne loolu happening instead then strike out the entire petition.
gëm naa ne gars yi dañu xoolaat mbir mi seegaat ko tamit parce que su nekkoon ne comme Supreme Court bi tamit amuñ valid points yoo xamante ne dina tax ba ñu strike ko out duñ ko strike out so hopefully dañu seetaan mbir mi seet argument bi boo xamante ne yooyu la NPP lawyers yi yooyu leen teg si table bi comme di wax ne ñi amuñ case ñu xool point of argument bi surrounding that area loolu moo tax ñuy jël décision boobu noonu foguma ne NPP dinañ jóg rek ñu ne waaw ñi amuñ case rek fekk amuñ benn valid point pour ñu jël
te gis nañ ne buñ defee loolu sa Supreme Court bi dafa wax gaay ñu fay $10,000
waaw moo nekk seen
first one bi
for wasting the court's time
exactly
right loolu noonu am na so lii mooy nekk
it's like table baa ngee toon from $10,000 to over $100,000
so lii comme justice system yi Gambia bi mun nañ wax ne fu mu nekk nii léegi daal alhamdulillah, because at the end of the day, they're not ruling in favor of a particular group just because they are in power, or they are not ruling in favor of a particular
the independence group of the judiciary has been tested.
Yeah, it's really been tested, not just now, since 2016, it's been tested over and over and over again in 2017, and up till date, even today, it's been tested. And this was supposed to be the highest testing of this judiciary system in the country, and which they have already passed also.
Yeah. So those are the numbers ko hamne molem ko hamne da la nga buga call contribute si programme bi mo neka 2323213 2323213 lolu moy number si rek ho buge contribute si programme bi rek lolu number si yangi nonu 2323213 si kalama fula rek ñi ñi tammi xam nga suñ audience ñu xam lan mo neka di happen bi because bi dafa neka case bo hamne dal ñu bari ñu ko don sentu won ñu ge wax ne okay ñu ko don xaar UDP file nañ a case against the independent electoral commission, against the incumbent party, and of course against the AG chambers. And this is the first time these things are happening in the Gambia, where an opposition party will file an election petition against the incumbent. Not only that, but against the independent electoral commission and the AG chambers. This is the first time in the history of the Gambia where such a scenario is happening.
Julde ajara moja musibe fulbe meden halana on fendo do ka wondo on fo yon anduno UDP no nabuno court be ananda horema ko be woni NPP party party yo gila be gagni election presidential election on in December o yawtudo do joni non ka wondo fendo do hande woni laabi nayi ko be yahno court enum on fo be yaade be arabe yahabe ara kono non hande Supreme Court on tigi wi be ala case be jetti case on be hawki mo yaase be wi fendo do non affaire on gasi yo be liggode leyni ni be yara yeso be ndara ko woni yeso feno do ko dum tun woni darede kono non naafibe immitum be hawki case on yaasi kono no wodi ko ananda hore makko dum taki habe yaltini dum don yaasi be wi be ala valid point kono ko dum woni sartaaji den danda hore makko dimbe fotno jokkude be jokkani din on sartaade habe timminidi ko dum taki ha dum do jetta non hawka yaasi kono no en foyen ande naafi MPP tun be nabi court kono be nabi AG chambers be nabi independent electoral commission kadi ka court parce que be wi ben don tigi ko himbe be ananda horema kadi be bokkuno ko ananda horema ko dum woni ka der election fraud yawdo heede dum don joni non gila dum wadi non feeno do ka wondo ko be wadi kon ko dum woni be yehibe haalaaji ananda horema ko dimbe foti wadde president ka court ton first time gila wada non men NPP no wadana sas be wi be yobu e UDP $10,000 because be wanno waste time court on dum don kadi gila yawti joni fendo do gila be haali joni court on hawka case on hawka ma yasi be wi UDP yobu NPP guluji temedere
UDP NPP
guluji temedere ko ɗum ɓe foti
ko NPP wiyano
10,000 ɗum woni guluji sappo ɗin so ɗin ɗon wonno ko anndanɗa hoore ma ko ɗum UDP NPP fonno yoɓude UDP joni noon UDP kadi no foti yoɓude NPP guluji temedere dalasi Gambian dalasi feno ɗo ko ɗum tolna feno ɗo ko ɗum mi woni yewtude ɗo pour onon kadi ande ɓe anndanɗa hoore ma ko musidɓe kay e nder emen bokku ɗon onon kadi andon ko honɗum won ɗo ko ɗum feyndi ɗo
waaw loolu am na solo torop Binta Diallo case bi moom xam naa ne daal ñu bari ñu ngi ko doon sentu woon ndaxte depuis bu mu dooree sax ñu bari woon dañ ŋàññi woon moo nekk United Democratic Party bi di wax ne waaw nekkut lii ñoom luñ fayal nekkut waaw balaa ñoo dem si loolu rek am nañ caller rek first caller hello caller asalaamaaleykum hello caller jumalem andu yiɓe mol call ka muntole ok akam tango misle yes Binta lu ma doon wax rek moo nekk ne fu mu nekk nii depuis buñ UDP def seen pétition bi ñu bari dañ ŋàññi parti bi ñu ne lii nekkul loo xam ne woon dañ ko doon sentu si UDP first depuis buñ because first time bi njëlbeen bi NPP rek lañ petition on so buñ petitionné ñu ne UDP nekkul di petition the right people because ñu mu war a petition moo nekk di Independent Electoral Commission ñoom ñoo yore wàllum election bi ak loo xam ne daal everything loo xam ne daal mu ngi jublu si election bi ñoom ñoo ko yore so waaw ñoom bokk nañ si so ñu gis ne tamit ñu dugal foofu noonu di Independent Electoral Commission bi subsequently gaa ñu dugal foofu noonu tamit AG Chambers bi mu nekk loo xam ne daal ñu bëri ñu doon wax ne sax balaa lii di happen sax ñu bëri génn nañ di wax ne waa UDP daanaka ñoom amuñ kees ndaxte some of their petitions yoo xam ne daal loolu lañ wax ñoo nekk ne xam nañ ne ñoom yéeg nañ ne yeneen IEC presiding officers yi ñoom NPP officials lañ wax nañ tamit nag si yeneen dëkka yoo xam ne daal during campagne bi UDP dañ doon jox moo nekk ne waaw NPP dañ doon jox nit ñi moo nekk ni ay sujeer ay xaalis wala ay yeneen bagage yoo xam ne daal dafa tax sax di leen bribe wala di leen indi
jënd karta yi daanaka
waaw jënd karta waaw in short jënd karta because soo defaree nit ñi loolu noonu ñu ne indirectly gaa ñu ngee jënd karta yooyu noonu so ñu ne loolu moo nekk bribery and inducement so ñu ne loolu warut a nekk te loolu is against the Electoral Act so loolu noonu su weesoo tamit UDP tamit dañ file petition NPP di wax ne waa NPP leader bi daf doon use maanaam hate speech maanaam wax yu doon wax jaarut
ak yoon ak luwaa bi
waaw jaarut si luwaa so wax na loolu noonu tamit waaye gis nañ ne si beginning bi loolu dañ xappu ne Binta di National Human Rights Commission dañ génn a statement di ñaawlu loo xam ne UDP leader bi loolu la doon wax ak NPP leader bi moo nekk président Adama Barrow di wax gaay ne nañ bàyyi seen xel si kàddu yu ñëw wax ndaxte gaay dañ am supporters yu bëri ndaxte tey lu ñu wax rek dafa nekk loo xam ne daal dafa impact a lot on the peace and stability of this country mu nekk loo xam ne daal dafa am solo trop waa am na beneen caller si line bi hello caller asalaamaaleykum hello caller waaw ok mel ni ñàkk nañ kooku tamit so comme nu ma doon wax rek lii nekkut tey depuis bu mu dooree nit ñi comme nuñ dee wax ne rek Facebook lawyers yi génn nañ di wax nit ñi ne case bi daal UDP it's like ñoom amuñ case because luñ nekk di file nii ñeneen ñu ngi wax ne sax UDP si boppam ñoom sax they are guilty of yeneen petition yoo xam ne daal ñoom dañ ko file against the incumbent party president leader moo nekk président Adama Barrow ak party am so mu nekk loo xam ne daal dafa doy waar torop te xam nañ ne campagne yi Gambia moom lii daanaka nekkul lu ees dangaa dem nga gis ñi di joxe i xaalis ñeneen di joxe ñu ne
African politics la si boppam nekkut ni Gambia rek la sax
exactly
this is known mun nañu wax ne is a culture in an African society dañu believe because ñun dañu am lu ñoo xamante ne dañ ko believe mooy suñ demee su time yi campagne su jotee ñu dem di joxe ay bagage di mayee xaalis pour gis ne nit ñi dañoo bëgg xam nga waaye this has like for me personally dama dee wax ne lii nekkul ne leaders yi or political party yooyu noonu ngay blame waaye we have to blame ourselves at the end of the day because su nekkee ne comme like yow man tey dama ñëwoon ma diggoon la dara 5 years bi jot yow gisuloo loolu noonu may ñëw carte time carte joxe carte su jotee may ñëw di la joxaat dara you know ma ne la ne su rombee dinaa la joxaat lii léegi noonu loolu des na si yow parce que yow man carte bi rek laa bëgga soo su ma la ko joxee soo ko jëlee yow la neex loolu moo tax nga jël ko waaye why not su nekkee ne jox na la ko yow nga jël su nekkee bëgguloo ko nañ waxanti digga su nekkee yow bëgguloo ko dangaa jël ma jox la laptop bii nii ma ne la ne jëlal lii dangaa jël laptop boobu noonu nga dem nga wone ko social media fii social media ñëpp am nañ mbaate nga dem si foo xamante ne is the right authorities pour nga report case bi waa ñu ma bribe te man lii dañ ma ko jox ñu ne is for my vote or whatever so I think we have a choice to make here.
Yeah, this is very, very important, Binta, for the fact that Gambians they made a history yet again because li bum happune election bi gis nañ ne lu bari happen na fi UDP supporters si gaay dañ doon génn hello caller, like am nañ caller si line. Okay, kooku dem na so gis nañ ne loolu bu mu happune immediately after elections bi UDP supporters yi some of them génn nañ si bedday di wax ne okay election results yi they are not free, they are not fair gis nañ ne ñu ne si yeneen polling stations yi doo xam ne daal dañ leen siil wala dafa am ay njuuj njaaj si yeneen polling stations yi ak lu bari loo xam ne daal génn nañ ñu ngi ko wax te mu nekk loo xam ne daal am na ñu am small clash between ñoom ak PIU officers yi so mu jur wax yu bari so waaye gis nañ ne léegi daal fu mu nekk nii luñ doon xaar léegi fu mu nekk nii daal jot na Supreme Court bi ñoom make nañ gaay seen final decision moo nekk ne jël nañ court yi UDP bi gaay seen petition bi sànni nañ ko si mbalit bi ñu ne amuñ case so mu nekk loo xam ne daal léegi jeex na daanaka because nit ñi lii lañ doon santu léegi am na ku nekk daal xam na ne léegi fu mu nekk nii lan moo happen te lu doon lii rek Binta pour ñu fàttali nit ñi rek lu happen on fii international observers yi for the first time in the history of the Gambia as well international observers yuñ fi am musuta am
bari na
waaw musuta am si election yi Gambia nga am former vice president of nga am former vice president
five former presidents sax ñëwoon nañ fii nii if not 4 or 5 daal ñëwoon nañ fii nii pour observe
election bi plus other international observers and all that te ñoom yëpp luñ doon wonee ne moo nekk ne election bi dafa free dafa fair dafa transparent te ñëpp ñoo dañ comment da Gambia for that te 2016 tamit gis nañ ne make nañ a lot history in this country because a lot of people thought ne maybe Gambia bi fii the country will be set on fire and all that because time boobu noonu president bu fi nekkoon moom tamit dafa waxoon ne election bi was not free and fair as a result moom tamit he was calling for re-election so as a result moo taxit intervention of international community bi gaay ñu ñëw waaye gis nañ ne loolu yëpp amuñ Gambia bi am nañ jaama lii it dafa wane ne rek Gambia bi jaama lañ xam waa am nañ koola ñu dem si loolu noonu rek ñu ñëwaat hello koola asalaamaaleykum
aleykum salaam
waa kan la ak foo ñu nekk di koole
lef sadi am la je
ha jumalem andu be mol kol kam huntole
mbe kol ka sukutale
mune muy la
sukuta traffic light
okay
yo mbe UDP mbe jam sala nyina
okay
sukuta kolom mbe kola sukutale sukuta traffic light
okay
mbe UDP kolu mbe jam sala nyina kunsen kunna ay kungole watu bare kunsen berola kungola katei
okay abaraka bake wo kolato Binta yes comme lu ma doon wax rek moo nekk ne Gambia jaama lañ xam you know réew mi jaama la si jaama lañ dëkka jaama lañ xam so moo taxit daal it's important pour ñu nootu jaama bi te gis nañ ne certain NPP supporters yoo xam ne sa si code bi ñu ngi doonoon si ginnaaw ñoom ñu doon wax ne ñu ngi oote jaama ñu ngi wax ne UDP ak Gambien si yëpp nañ ñëw together ñu booloo ñu nekk benn ñu liggéey réew mi foog naa ne loolu moo jot pour ñu liggéey réew mi fu mu nekk nii mu nekk loo xam ne daal am na solo torop because jaama lañ xam te jaama moom macha allah loolu fo mu sax fii rek ndaxte loolu lañ xam so ñëpp ñu bàyyi si loolu xel daal gis nañ ne tamit even though United okay I have another call hello call asalaamaaleykum
hello asalaamaaleykum
waa kan la ak foo ñu nekk di koole
ma ngi naa koole Esaw
Okay, lan mooy sa contribution?
Man li ma contribute mooy comme UDP. nañ bàyyi comme la ñoo def nii te xam ne yëpp jeex na. Dëkk bi mi ngi am jaama so ñun gi jaama lañ bëgga. Élection bi waxuma la Gambia waxuma la Afrique waaye international yëpp ñu ngi wax ne lii dafa fair. Cause vote counting la. mbir bi la ñoo counté ku nekk yaa ngi am sa agent yaa ngi taxaw ñu la nangam lañ am nga sign loolu tamit man problème moo ko war a am soo man su nekkoon man la man maa nekk sa agent soo ma ñëw ngeen ma lii aw ma lii xëyaawut ñaata former président ñoo nekk Gambia en ñoom ñëpp ñu ne ñoom lii dinañ ko yóbbu seen dëkk ñun jàmm lañ bëgg UDP NPP yëpp Gambian si ñoo vote seen choice so amatul benn problème nañ bàyyi ñoo def life goes on ñu continuer ñu ñëw join hand with the president and ñu liggéey dëkk bi jëm kanam ñu seetaat leneen man daal loolu naa gis lii yëpp amul njëriñ 4 December still ñu ngi ega ka wàcca amul njëriñ en li dëkk bi xam ne am na luwa xam ne li xew so loolu rek laa amoon comme ni ma wax ñun jaama rek lañ bëgg en liggéey su dëkk bi naxarewu te def ñu ñëpp ñu join hand
jërëjëf kooku lu mu doon wax moo lu am solo la Binta jaama bi rek lañ nekk di ñaax nit ñi fu mu nekk nii ndaxte ñun jaama lañ xam comme lu ma ko doon wax rek si ginnaaw dëkk bi su baaxee ñuñ la baaxal su yàqoo tamit ñuñ la yàqal so si dugga si kaalama mandinka rek ñu wase loolu
comme ñin robin fo kan wala mo ñinti ko be kayrole anen tenkumo be wala dani kan mol mi yalon ko wala mo UDPT pour na kayro nin tenkumo fanan sabanti jang katu nin kayro sabati tan tolle mo na nin tenkumo fanan sabati tan tolle mo nin dulalu mala tan tol fanan be tula kono faskin tol comme ka fo nyami wato be dorom man ta dula soto tol be gambe jan nen diwol be jam mamanyol be jam mumunyol be jam momo e badi ngol be jan to so hanna ka be bantala banko to e ba fala ko na dulalu mala o na dulal ketenting aman na faso to because at the end of the day abine telephone kan because ila ba ibadi ngol be jan ni bati jang ifa be jan ni fati jang ila mo be jan at least aketa nyaaw nyara ni badi beti tetanola so wala mu comme tenkumo aning kayro doro mole o duwa doro atambitale silang next 5 years o fana man jam fa ba sanjo teriyata ba we were in
other elections are
coming up yeah so saying abeda min fa ngena kumayata wala mo nyintiku ye parendiroke because National Assembly election or seatale mayoral fenko nyi fanan seatale so na mira scienting working ahead towards that I think is the most important thing at this point, hence the court case is at this point.
We have another caller. Hello caller, assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum.
Wa kan la fo ñu nekk di caller?
Yeah, ma ngi di
okay
so lu ma bëgg
okay, the line is not clear. We will have to move on. Yes, Binta.
Right. Like I said, mbeda tentin sign tentin doku jamale tutakoma mini yalon ko nyanta kuma asla kabirin sign.
Exactly.
Mayoral man easy. Parliamentary election man easy because it needs a lot of groundwork, and I believe UDP is a party that would really work hard towards achieving their goal in that area because they have all the chances to make sure that they win the mayoral elections. They have all the chances to make sure that they win the councillorship. They have all the chances to make sure that they also win the the parliamentary elections at least have more seats than any other party. They have all the chances. So I think working towards that now at this point is the most important and vital thing to do at this point.
Yeah, it's the most important thing and the vital thing to do. Lol rek la dika bi ñu ñoko mom folk rek ñu nurture jama fi peace and tranquility in this country. We have to nurture it because that is the only thing we have in this country, and it is so precious for Gambians. So it's very, very important. Politics comes and goes,
yes.
Binta, like I always say, but Gambia stays. President Barrow in the next 5 years, only God knows who is going to be the president of this country. So if we destroy this country, you know, we are destroying it for the future generation. What do we have to tell them? You know, if they come, you know, in this
which is going to take us years to build again.
Exactly. So the Gambia fum nekka ni dal dañ bolo rek ñu nekka ben ñu develop ko lolu rek mo gëna am solo ndaxte lu ñu wara def ci liggéey dafa bari Binta. You know, in the area of electricity, food, water, health, agriculture, all these things are areas where Gambia needs a huge improvement and development lo xamne dal ñi dañ ko wara def. So yeah, Usman, we are going back to the Supreme Court of the Gambia, where Usman Jatta is, and he will give us final updates as to what is happening at the Supreme Court of the Gambia. Usman, what more updates can you give us?
Thank you very much, Mr. Suare, with regards to, I can't get all the details right as expected, actually. So, but we only focus on the ruling which was made by the Justice Hassan Jallow. So we did not get the maybe some of the recommendations would be published and it will be known to the public. But for now, we have not known any recommendation which has been made by the court or by the Honorable Chief Justice. All that we know is the Yellow Party has been fined for with the fine of $100,000, and their petition case at the Supreme Court, which happens to be the highest court in the Gambia, has been struck out for the fact that it did not meet some of the requirements of the petition and other arguments. So basically, that was it. After several weeks of a hearing, the deadline, which is 30 days, the hearing has ended, and this means the president will sworn on the 19th January 2022. So that is what is all. That is what has all happened, and it has been a wonderful moment to be covered in such a hearing, actually, because as you know, it was the first time following the defeat of the former president, who happens to be Yahya Jammeh, in 2016. So I think this means a lot to our democracy as a country, because if the opposition party is able to take cases or to challenge the election results at the Supreme Court, I think it's a very good improvement for the country's democracy, which is growing at a very good speed with the election or the re-election of President Barrow. Back to you, Mrs. Suare.
Usman, how soon are we expecting to have this recommendation, or are they going to make them public? And if so, how soon are we expecting to see the recommendations?
I believe this should not take time, actually, because you have to understand that that is of interest to the public, and wherever the public is involved, the court is also very careful with that. And anytime from now, who knows, it could be published for the public to know about it, because the case is of interest to the public, and it is their right to know what has transpired and to know what the recommendations of the court is. Because you have to understand that some of the recommendations can be used in the future. Let's say in the next 5 years, if elections are conducted and this happen, recommendations could be used to back anything comes up. I think it may not take time, actually, because when the court was here, the judge was mentioning about public interest. He was saying that the case is of interest to the public. So this is one thing the judge is very concerned about, that is the public interest.
Thank you so very much, Usman Jatta, for that wonderful update there.
It's a pleasure, Mrs. Suare.
Thank you. mu doon wax lu am solo moo nekk history comme nu ma ko doon wax rek moo nekk ne jaama rek moo fi gën a am solo because lii daal fu mu nekk ni history Gambia it shows that democracy is in this country comme nu ma ko waxoon rek because lii musut a happen and this is not the first time we've seen other parties like GMC and of course Citizens Alliance ñoom tamit dañ file a case against the country's Independent Electoral Commission and they won. So this is a test for Gambia's democracy.
I think we should be celebrating our judiciary system in this country because before, back in 2016 going forward, I think backward rather, they lost hope in the judicial system of the country. Even if you go to court against the government, you're likely to, of course, fail. And it will be struck out immediately as it goes there. But now, since the new regime, I should say, came into power, and not just them, but I believe we as Gambians made sure that we achieved this because of the fight we put in place to make sure that we have a good judicial system in the country, to make sure that things are transparent, to make sure that we have the right to fight for ourselves when we go to court and stand by it and make sure that we also win in our favor, on our favors rather. So this is something really important, and I believe that Gambia should be proud, and every Gambian should be proud, and in any case that you might have in the future, you can proudly say, even if at all is against the government, you can proudly say, okay, I might have a chance of winning this case.
Yeah, I might have a chance of winning this case. It's a test to democracy, like I said. This is very, very important for the country, for the Gambia. And like Binta said, we should be all very, very proud of the type of judiciary the Gambia has now. So that's all we have for you for today's edition of the special edition. And of course, we will come back for other interesting programs. But do stay tuned. Don't go away, because we will bring you all the latest updates happening in the country and of course around the world. And we will make sure that we lay our hands on the recommendation of the Supreme Court of the Gambia regarding the petition of the United Democratic Party, and we will give you latest updates in that regard. Thank you so very much for the pleasure of your company, and do have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.
Yombana